Are you listening?
Of police and crime reduction efforts in New York City. Essentially, they decided to pay attention to those signs of neighborhood decay, to take care of graffiti, to take care of broken windows. If the neighborhood looked better, the serious criminals would go somewhere else. And they actually found, for the most part, that theory was supported.
Famous quote by Eleanor Roosevelt, which goes something like, "Life's not long enough to make and learn from every possible type of mistake. Learn from other people's mistakes instead." Books are a great way to learn from other people's knowledge base. Sometimes 30 years of life experience is compressed into one book. That's invaluable. Books are a great way to have any mentor you like. Just pick one person that you think is inspirational, read their book, and you'll learn what they thought, what they felt, their experiences, and their lessons. Will Smith did this award speech once at a Nickelodeon Awards for Best Something. And in it he goes, "There's two pieces of advice that I give you kids. One is run every day. If you keep running every day, you'll keep your body in good health. The second was to read every day. If you read every day, you'll get smarter every single day." How much does it really cost to live in London? We're gonna find out today. By the Huffington Post, and it looks at the cities and it looks at places along the tube map and tells you how much rent is on average in those areas. You can see some of the highest rent in central London, at Hyde Park Corner, £3,000 a month. This is wrong. I've lived here all my life. I've been paying bills for a long time now. So let's see how much it actually costs, because I've got first-hand experience. So let's get to the good part first, how much you can earn living in London. This is something I prepared earlier. Average salary of someone working in central London, and most people will work in central London and they will commute to a suburb, and the average commute is an hour within London. So people will work on the outskirts of London, what they also known as Greater London, and then they will work in the city or central London, because that's where the highest wage is. The average wage for central London is £30,000 per year. At £30,000 you get deducted 20% basic rate tax plus national insurance contribution, so you're looking at 30%. So minus £9,000, you get £21,000 left over in terms of actual cash in the bank over a year. That doesn't include pension contributions and anything else that you're paying for. That works out to £17.50 per month, which sounds excellent considering it's a lot higher than anywhere else in the UK. Next bit. How much does it cost? So rent, the average for a one-bedroom apartment is around £1,500, and that's in a suburb where you have to commute for an hour to get into central London. This also includes things like water, electricity, and council tax, which is a tax we have to pay on housing and flats. Next is food. Now I try to be conservative and frugal with how much I spend outside of the basic things I need. So even if you just do a weekly shop and you're just getting lunch and basic stuff to cook for yourself at home, you can easily end up spending around £50 a week, which is around £200 a month, and that includes lunches, £200 a month. Next thing, transport. £164 a month. It's £41 a week for a zone 1 to 6 travel card. So zone 1 is central London. The further you go out, the cheaper it gets to live, and also the more you have to pay to get from one place to another. So that altogether is £18.64, not including going out, buying people things for birthdays or anniversaries or weddings, and leaving parties, things like that, socializing, going to the cinema, buying clothes, because those are important. Okay, next thing, it's actually really expensive to live in London, although it looks very cool. The next thing is house prices. The average house price in London, and again we're looking at a suburb, so not central London, because in central London it's going to be very difficult to buy a house, is 400,000, and that's average for a house or a flat. 20% deposit would make £80,000 you'd need as a deposit, and then fees including stamp duty, legal fees would be around £10,000. Other costs in terms of moving, furnishing, surveying, everything else that comes into it. So you're looking at around 100,000 for buying a house. So regardless of whether you're paying rent or you buy a house, you're going to end up having that kind of outgoing per month, around that much. Obviously if you buy a house, you're working to pay it off, but you need that kind of money to start off with. London is a great place to live. You can have a great lifestyle depending on where you live in London. You can get good jobs, there's an abundance of things that you can do. And personally, I think where I live, I'm happy where I live, and I think it's the best place in the world that I could be living. However, it's not cheap. I work 3 jobs, one full-time, Monday to Friday, one on weekends, and another one on evenings and the weekdays. It was a crazy time, but everyone in this city has to work so hard in order to survive when they start out. And that's a reality for most people here. I have had a head start on several things thanks to my in-laws and thanks to my parents. So thank you in-laws, thank you parents. The moral of the story is, the grass is always greener on the other side. Living in London looks amazing, but a lot of people who live here, especially when they're starting out, have to make sacrifices. They have to live in shared accommodation where there's a lot of people in one house, people living in living rooms, people doing 2 or 3 jobs in order to make ends meet, and that's just to live a basic lifestyle, nothing exciting. And that's a reality for the majority of people in London. Now that's a lot of rain.